So then we should now be able to continue. So ladies and gentlemen, when we talk of being effective at the workplace as accountants, there are things that we need to appreciate. As accountants, there are things that we need to appreciate here. What are these things, ladies and gentlemen? Number one, as accountants, we must take Excel as a tool, as a very important software that all of us should be able to appreciate. It's an engine. I call it a software because I know the power of Excel. You'll get most accountants, the only thing they can do very well with Excel is basically multiplication, additions. No, Excel has got, a lot that you can do with Excel. If, for example, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here, I share some Excel worksheet here, and then I get to demonstrate what I'm talking about, you will be amazed with what this Excel can do. Assuming you have this kind of a table, all right, let me just come and delete here. All right, so we are given, please listen and listen to me. We are given quite a huge table here where we have customers' names. So from Alex Avila, if I would want to know, for example, how many customers I have, I can simply say control down arrow. It takes me to about 693 customers in total. 693, of course, save for those are few rows up there that are empty. So out of these 693, if I just go back here, if I get to go back, ladies and gentlemen, out of these 693, you will go to an interview and somebody will tell you, out of these 600 and whatever number, we would want you to single out one person called Amihant, one customer called Amihant. And for Amihant, what would want you to do this Amihant for him, would want you to give us the sales amount, what he bought from us, the quantity, and the profit, for example, that we got out of his transaction. Now, there are very, very many tools that I can use as an accountant. There are many tools I can use to be able to get this Amihant. So first of all, I can see Amihant here is a part of course, this customer database, and the customers are arranged, all of them vertically downwards, So meaning that for looking for Amihant, I could very easily use what here, use VLOOKUP. But you see now VLOOKUP has been overtaken by events. People are no longer making use of VLOOKUP. People nowadays, we are making use of what we call what here, XLOOKUP. So if it's XLOOKUP, allow me to demonstrate XLOOKUP. So XLOOKUP, what I'll do, I'll come and say equals. I look for this XLOOKUP. I can see it is coming there. It's blue in color. So I'll be able to say tab there. Then it will give me the narrations, what they want us to basically follow. Like the very first item, they want us, ladies and gentlemen, to give them the lookup value. What is it that I'm looking for? So the lookup item value is this customer Amihant. And then after the lookup value, you can see they want me to put a comma. I'll simply follow. From there, they want me to give them the lookup array. Where are we finding this guy called Amihant? So Amihant, if I just scroll here to the right, to the left, Amihant will be among this. But they want an array. So an array, I'll simply go here and I'll say Control Shift down arrow to simply highlight the entire range, the entire column. After I do that, I'll continue with my journey. So you can see my journey here, I've been able to put a comma here. After the lookup array, they want the return array. What would you want about this guy called Ami? I would want to know his sales. I would want to know the quantity he purchased from us and the profit that we derive from him. So I'll come here, say Control Shift, right arrow, and then I go down one step. Down. And when I go down, I can see this one in red is ending here. So it does not cover up to grand total. But you can see this one here is covering the grand total. These things have to be the same. So what I need to do is to release Control. So I'll be left with Shift, and then I just go up one step. All right. So from there, I'll be able to say, ladies and gentlemen, after that, what do I say? After return array, I can see all these others are faint and they're put in some kind of square brackets. So meaning that they're not a must. So what I need to do is to come and simply say shift. I close my brackets like that. Once I do that, I'll be able to enter. Once I enter, ladies and gentlemen, if I say page up, you can see already it has returned things for me. It has returned things for me here. It has told me the customer called Amy Hunt, sales were 577.49. Quantity sold is 8. Profit is 147 point what here, like that. And then when I put this here, I can easily drag down this. I can easily drag down this, and then I'll have all the other customers, in this case here, an autofill being done. All right. So I would want to repeat this one more time and see whether you guys are now following. I mean, there are things, ladies and gentlemen, when I come to your workplace and then I realize you don't have them, I'll straight away know that this accountant is not serious. This accountant is not serious. There are things that you must be knowing. Like XLOOKUP, I mean, is a must for any accountant. XLOOKUP is very, very important. So I don't think even there is any good reason for me to repeat. I would rather just go through the most important functionalities that an accountant should be able to know. And then later on, we create a course for you. We create a course for you that you should be able to join. And then you do what here, you benefit. What is the other advantage of this XLOOKUP? Remember, VLOOKUP was very, very directional. Like if VLOOKUP, you can only search to the right, VLOOKUP. But you see, if, for example, later on your boss comes and tells you, hey, would also want, for example, the customer IDs of these customers here, which is on the left side. If it's XLOOKUP is multi-directional. I'll simply come and say equals here, and then I'll say XLOOKUP there. Lookup value, it is still this gentleman that I'm looking for. Then I say, comma, lookup array. What do you want? I want this customer ID, the customer ID. So I go to the original table where we have the customer IDs here, like that. Customer ID. No, not customer ID. The lookup array, we are looking for this customer. So it is this customer's name, like that. So Control Shift, down arrow, nice. Then in this case here, comma, I'll be able to go to the next after lookup array. It is return array. So what do I want returned? It is the customer ID. Control Shift, down. They have copied the grand total. If I try, with that grand total being copied there, I'll have a problem. I have to shift, and then of course I move one step up like that. And then I should be able to come here and close brackets like that. And then I enter. So when I enter like that, what am I seeing? That this guy's customer ID has been brought up. I mean, Excel is an engine. So then I should be able to come here and pull this down for all the other customers. Great. It's called XLOOKUP. 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 I'm so sure I can't say really that you guys have learned anything much out of that XLOOKUP demonstration, but is there somebody who has been able to see some great concepts? Just seeing, is there somebody who has been able to see that XLOOKUP, I mean, is a great thing? It's a great thing. Great. Then again, let me ask you another question. Is there somebody who is getting to see, be very honest with me, is there somebody who is getting to see this XLOOKUP for their very first time, that they've never seen it before, that today is your very first time to see this XLOOKUP? It's my first time. Thanks, Kaida, for being very honest. Daniel, thank you very much for being honest. We like honest students. We like honest students. XLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, XLOOKUP. All right. We shall overcome. Don't worry, we shall overcome. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. That's why we are here to help you guys to really ensure that you become so good in this. Great. Thanks, Rose, for being honest. We like honest students. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other thing, I'm still looking up. We shall overcome. I'll be able to teach you guys how to handle this. There is one mistake you guys haven't yet done. I mean, whatever I'm showing you up here, these are eye-opening things. I would want most of your friends to be around. Because like now, my next topic of discussion as an accountant, if we do not know how to save, then automatically we shall end up being thieves. So I'll be having, in this case here, 20 minutes presentation to show you how to make savings through the money market funds. We have government bonds. So I'll be having like the next 10 minutes, I'll be talking about savings, which is very, very important for everybody, not accountants alone. So I would rather you bring in your siblings. I would rather you bring in like everybody you know, friends and enemies included. Friends and enemies included. You bring them, let them know how to save. Let them know how to save. All right. So simply, how do you welcome your friends? By simply sharing the link that I sent to you here. How I wish, right now we are 64. How I wish by the time I finish this session, we shall be about 100 and something. How I wish. All right. Do you have a practical and enemies? Yes. All right. All right. All right. There's a question that I saw here. Do you have any physical classes for practical accountancy, practical accounting? Kaira don't go for physical classes, no. We do everything in this case here online. We do everything online. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I would want to show you guys. Very, very important. And I was able to show you this in our last session. Now, assuming you've got this kind of data, all right? This kind of data, I'd actually done this, if you remember very well. So we have like the dates, the sales representatives, etc. And then you just go to an interview. I'll tell you how I got to know Excel. I also used to be very stupid, if I may use that word, on matters Excel. Very stupid until one day I got problems with what here somebody. I got a problem with some interview. Yeah, where in this case here, I simply was not able to do anything using Excel. That's when I discovered, hey, I have to do quite a lot. And then I attended a very expensive training. And then courtesy of my former employer, I got to know a lot of Excel because of the trainings that I was being taken through. All right. So for example, you are given this kind of data really. So when you look at this data, there is nothing much you can be able to make decisions about. If I were this particular person, for example, instead of presenting this data the way it is presented in these tables, I would rather, for example, even have one table as a summary, as a dashboard, where I'm able to present sales regionally. So it'll be very easy for people even to make comparisons for these regions. So in this case here, regionally, I'll come here. All right, and then I'll be able to read this. So I start from scratch. So I'll be able to come here and say equals. So I'll want to use some ifs. So I can see some ifs there like that. So why am I using some ifs? It's because like if it is east, I would want east alone. That sum, whenever you see an east figure, like it'll take this summation east, another summation. So there's a condition there. So some ifs. What do I want? I want the sales. So the sales are here. So I'll come in there, just the column D. Column D, I can highlight the whole of it up to down there. And then of course, and this is where I love XLOOKUP. This is where I love XLOOKUP and the pivot tables. We don't have to lock anything. For some ifs, you must keep on locking. So how do I lock this? I'll come and say function F4. Some computers, you simply say F4. And then I'll be able to say comma here. When I say comma, some range, the next one is the criteria range. What criteria would you want in this case? I'm looking at the regions. So the regions here. So I'll come to E, highlight the whole of E, and then again, this has to be fully referenced like that. All right. Now, after that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be able to say comma. After the criteria range, the next one they want me to pick is the criteria itself. So I'll only pick east here. And this east, I will not lock it up. I'll not lock east up. I'll be able to show you in practice where we are not locking this east. So then I'll be able to close brackets. That is it. And then I'll be able to do what here to say enter. So I can see the east, total sales from east is like that. Now the others, I don't have to really belabor. What I'll do, I'll come and put my cursor here, and then I'll be able to do what here to autofill down. So I have like that for all the sales. And then of course, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be able to come here and say total. The total here is alt equals. So alt equals, I'm able to get the total there as 905. 702. The total sales from these regions here. The total sales from these regions is 905,702. Honestly speaking, this sum of SUMIFS, is not my daily kind of food. I don't like it because of that locking. If I'm the one doing this, I'll come and pivot this entire data. How do I get to pivot this entire data? I'll simply come and click anywhere here, anywhere in this table that I would want to pivot, to summarize. To pivot is to summarize. And then once I do that, once I click anywhere inside here, I'll come and say insert. What am I inserting? Pivot table. So this pivot table will give me a pop-up window. So I'll say I want this to be in the existing worksheet. So you can see now here it is asking me where. Location, I'll say it is here. Just here. I click there. And then I'll be able to say okay. So once I say okay, what do I want? I would want, ladies and gentlemen, the regions to be in the rows, regions here to be in the rows, like that. So if, for example, I click anywhere here, you will see they have summarized for me. You see the other one, you have to do the summary yourself. Here, this thing has been able to go to the regions here, and it has been able to pick the unique regions here for me. Then I'll click inside here. Then I want the sales of each of these regions. So I'll take this to the value, sales, like that. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So in this case here, you can see something nice happening here. You can see something nice happening here. I have my pivot table that now I can very easily, in this case here, do what here? Draw a pivot chart. You can see everything is the same as this. There are things, ladies and gentlemen, as an accountant, you need to know. There are things as an accountant you need to know. If you don't know them, you'll always have issues with your data analysis. We've gone, for example, to very many circles to give trainings to employees. You get employees, for example, an employee who's doing reconciliation like a whole year. No. If you guys get to know Excel very well, most of the accountants' work will be taken to the strategic area. An accountant should not be spending a lot of time in number crunching. No, an accountant should be able to use Excel and do the pivots, do the pivot charts, come up with what we call the slicers and dicers, and of course, even present this data using now, for example, the PowerPoint slides nicely, project them to directors. All right. So an accountant, we have a very good tool called Excel. It doesn't matter how senior of a software your company is using. It could be SAP. It could be whichever. But at the end of the day, the mother of all software is Excel. That's why you have all those software having an icon where you export data to Excel for further analysis. So Excel is key. Excel is key. Anybody who has any question up to where we have reached. Of course, today I'm not training, so you can't really ask like very, very specific questions here regarding this. Is there somebody who has been challenged by what I've done? Is there somebody who has been challenged by what I've done? Repeat that. Mildred, I'll be able to answer that. Okay. So this gentleman wants me to repeat, although we are not here really today for purpose of what here, getting to understand like everything. No, today I'm just here to showcase at a high level. Otherwise, I'm mounting a new Excel session out of public demand. We are mounting a new Excel training, which will be online from this Wednesday. From this Wednesday, we shall be able to discuss about charges as we go on along with this mentorship. So in this case here, what do we do when you want to? This is the table that I want to pivot. So you'll come and say insert pivot table. Choose where you want the pivot table to be placed. You could say you want a new worksheet. If you want a new worksheet, no problem. So it gives you something like this, a whole canvas. All right. And then you'll be able to say in this case here, you want sales. Are you able to see my new worksheet? Are you able to see my new worksheet, ladies and gentlemen? Are you able to see my new worksheet, which is empty, that is written here, pivot table fields? Pivot table fields. Yes, thank you very much. All right. So then I'll be able to come here pretty fast and pick the regions. Put them in the rows. You can see they are here. Then come here very fast. You want the sales. They are there. And these sales, for example, you could even decide to apportion them to various tier products like East. I mean, you can come and, pivot tables, my friends, you should be able to know it's a try and error thing. You keep on, in this case, you're trying until you get it right, until you get to what your bosses want. So for example, you could come and take these products and put them in the columns to subdivide these sales. Look at what is happening here now. Look at what is happening here. So I have here, if I scroll here, so you'll be able to see, for example, the sales here, we have the grand total. You can see here, 905. But now divided to the various various groups, various products like that. So it's about trying. And then, of course, most importantly, you could even come under, in this case here, put a pivot chart there. So this is the pivot chart. Pivot chart. All right. So this pivot chart now, you can always play around with it the way you wish. For example, you could come and say, for regions, I want to compare, say, 2 regions. So I'll be able to select all of them. And then I select the ones that I would want to compare. For example, I want East and I want to compare Midwest. Then I'll say, okay. All right. So you'll see in this case here now we have East and Midwest. And you can see also the table, your table has been adjusted like that. Your table automatically, it will be left here with East and Midwest. Then as well, come and filter the products you want. You don't have to select like all products. You can come and compare. Maybe your bosses want you to compare Aspen versus the code. Those 2 only, like that. So you'll be able to see in this case here, the 2, how they are doing in the regions. So you can see in the East, in this case here, Aspen, of course, both of them are growing, but still Aspen is a dwarf in the 2 regions. So you can call, in this case here, the marketing manager of Aspen, ask this guy, what are you not doing right? What kind of support would you want us to give you to be able to reach this other manager? So for example, the other manager, his product is well known in the market. I mean, maybe it's an old product. So this guy should be able to give us it, but most importantly, tell us the kind of support that he needs. So you see now I'm able to base my decisions upon what here? Upon data. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope now this friend of mine has seen what I've done there. I hope my friend has seen what I've done there, the one who told me to repeat. This is a very good tool. 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 Is there somebody who is seeing pivot tables for the very first time here? Is there anybody who is seeing pivot tables for the very first time? Pivot tables for the very first time? Please be very honest. We like honest students. We like honest students. Honest students. And I would want you to start pivoting your data. Don't understand how to use them. We shall overcome. And that is why here we are to help you guys. Hagaibo, you'll be able to overcome. So don't worry. Don't worry. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Excel classes, online Excel classes, starting from this Wednesday. Starting from this Wednesday, for the students from outside, the students who have never been at RCM. You are not an alumni of RCM. You are not, in this case here, a student of RCM. You shall pay 2,000 shillings. 2,000 shillings. But in this case here, the RCM students, they're paying 1,000. RCM students or alumni, they're paying 1,000. We shall be able to give you a certificate of attendance once we clear the course. The course in total is a course of 7 days. We shall do 3 days this week, the other 4 days next week. What we shall be covering, I'll be able to share with you what we shall cover through our adverts here. All right. But there are those key things that you need as an accountant. Like now the pivot tables, all the lookup functions are very, very important. How to do Common dashboards, very, very important. Reconciliations here, very important. So I'll be able to share with you. So 2,000 bob for the kind of outsiders, all right? And 1,000 bob for our current students and what year alumni. And remember, those classes will be run from 6 p.m. Will be running from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So if you have got other classes at that time, don't pay for that Excel note unless you would want to use videos later. All right. So in that case here, will I be able to get students signing in? Will I be able to get students signing in for that Excel coming from Wednesday? Coming on Wednesday all the way to next week? Will I be able to get guys signing in, or will I be alone teaching myself? It is an advanced Excel training, yes. It's an advanced Excel training. Although what I normally realize, you see very many students here think that they know Excel, even the basic one, but they do not know. Let me show you something. They do not know. Let me show you something. That's why I like combining. I just like combining and doing everything from scratch. I do everything from scratch. Misbehaving this one, we should overcome. Let me get another one. All right, this is much better. All right. I've always gotten students telling me, Mwalimu, I know a lot of Excel. I don't want this basic. I normally start from the very beginning and then I move up very well. You'll get, for example, a student having something like this. Now you can see like now here, this word is not really fitting onto the cell. We come from Nanyuki, I mean crazy. So if, for example, I want words or numbers to fit onto Excel, we don't do this. We don't do this. If I get you trying to squeeze this thing like that, I'll know straight away this student, even if they're saying that they are good in Excel, they're not very good in any Excel. Because what a good student will do here is to come and, for example, highlight the entire sheet like that. And then they'll come here and double click anywhere. You double click. Once you double click, all the words here will be able to fit in. Iko mwanafunzi hapa amekuwa akitumia njia ya kitambo. Hebu niambieni ukweli hivi. Iko mwanafunzi amekuwa akifanya hivyo njia ya kitambo. Hebu niambieni ukweli. Do it after CASNEV exam. A good question there. Good question there. I can only see one honest person. I can only see one honest person here. Did this yesterday. So then the best thing that I've shown you today, if you want all these words to fit in, just go and do what here. You should be able to go and just highlight the entire Excel sheet, and then you go to any in between here, and then you double click. You'll be able to have that happening. The other thing that I've always seen students doing, you'll get a student, for example, they have here 78, they have here, for example, 45, 789, whatever. So this could be, for example, Q1 sales, and then we have here Q2 sales. So Q2 sales, for example, this could be 45. This would be, for example, in this case here, for example, 34, for example, whatever, 78, for example. So if somebody wants to get the total here, if somebody wants to get the total here, what do? You'll get somebody telling you equals, then they start doing like this sum. Once they see it's in blue, like they double click, and then they start, in this case, they are doing like this. Right? But they know they don't have, and then they say enter. So they're able to get that 912. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not how we do it in Excel. In Excel, if it's summation, I'll simply say Alt, I hold on to it permanently, Alt, equals. And then I'll be able to say tab. I go to the next one. So this next one, I don't even have to apply the formula. Excel knows that this figure that I would want to get is on the right of the 912. So I'll come and say Control R, Control right. It gives me. You know, Excel is a crazily beautiful thing. These guys who came up with this Excel, these guys are geniuses. The guys are geniuses. And at times in this case here, I may want to get like the totals here. Row-wise totals, and of course, column-wise totals. So I have here row-wise totals here, and column-wise what here totals. If I want to do that, it's very easy. What I do is simply to highlight like this, including the empty. Let me repeat this, Control Z. So what I'll do is to come and highlight this from the titles. I go to the empty cell in the row where my totals will be put, and then I continue highlighting up to there, but I have also to put an empty row for the totals in the column. And then I'll say Alt equals. This thing adds for me automatically. It adds for me automatically. It gives me totals here. It gives me totals here. It gives me totals here. And totals here. I like this. I like this. So if I'm doing sequence and series, all right. So this is wonderful. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. So I will really start it from down here, and then I take it very fast to the advanced level. Or would you want Mwalimu to ignore those basic things? Is there somebody who can tell me that Mwalimu, I'm very good with these basic things? Don't do them. Don't do them. Just go to advanced straight away. We have to do them, yes. Bottom up is the best, yes. Bottom up is the best. Bottom up is the best. Bottom up is the best. We start down and then we move up very well. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to flourish outside here, you see now, this is a very genuine student. What you're calling basic is advanced to some of us. And I'll be able to take you guys very slowly. And for sure, you'll be surprised as you finish your classes from RCM College. You will say that this, for sure, is the best gift that Dr. Aura gave to us. Best gift. A student is asking, as long as he root. No. Ushindwe. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well. This Excel is very, very serious. So I would want us to have, of course, I can see students saying that Mwalimu, we should start after CASNEB exams. But you see, there are guys who are free right now. There are guys who finished their CASNEB exams last semester. Why would you want them to be idle? There are students who are doing just one paper in CASNEB. So if you're doing one paper, at least to make yourself busy, what do you do in the evening? It's only 7 days and you get a certificate. 7 days in the evening, you get a certificate. So you'd rather, in this case, if you're quite free, you're doing one paper in April for your CASNEB exams, or you are outside there, like here, I happen to be having very, very many members of ISPAC. I happen to be having very many members of ISPAC. Do I have some members of ISPAC here? Please, if you're a member of ISPAC, are you able to mention their wife or yes? If you're a member of ISPAC, I'm so sure I have colleagues from ISPAC who have joined us here. It can't be 1, it can't be 2, it can't be 3. Are they there? Those members of ISPAC. Yes, you can see 2020. Oh, you'll be a member of ISPAC in 2025. Great vision there. I like that. That's a good challenge, yes. By 2025, this gentleman called Don Roam will be a member of ISPAC. I'm looking at the current. 2027 Ismail, meaning Ismail is in level 1 now. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. All is well. In the future, we'll be joining soon. So you see, the point is there could be a few people who are quite year free. All right. And who would want this skill like tomorrow. Like tomorrow. Liz wants a discount. Liz, you're a CPA 2,000 is not too much for you. 2,000 will not make Liz rob anybody's bank. This is very good. I only give discounts to students of RCM. Students of RCM are the ones who pay just 1,000 bob. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, that our pay bill, it's important for you to pick our pay bill. Our pay bill is 62, 42, 839 Pay bill is 62,42,839. Account is Excel. Account is Excel. Account is Excel. Liz is laughing there. You see, Gideon is a member of ISPAC, meaning that he's really into the workplace right now. And maybe he's not very busy in the evening. Okay, of course, he could be doing other programs, but they may not be as rigorous as a CPA. So he has those 7 days in the evening. So you should be able to join us, Gideon. Karibu sana. All right. Then we have something different, ladies and gentlemen, as an accountant. I've seen this thing costing accountants a lot. This aspect of accountants living beyond their means. If you want to be the very best accountant, it will be online. It will be online. Although the ones who want physical, we also have physical classes, but physical classes, they have to be a bit expensive because of rent. Because of rent. Physical classes, you have to talk. I should actually give you the college's number. 0793 555 000. 0793 555 000. Please call that number and ask for online classes. Ask for physical classes. I'll have given them the price for physical class as well. Now, please listen. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is anything that has cost so many of my students who are doing accounting, most of them, instead of ending up being chief accountants, they become thief accountants. Thief like this. Thief accountants. And then they keep on now living a life of, intimidation throughout. You steal once, great guys, great in quotes, guys outside there, they show you that as an accountant, let's, in this case here, have this, there's this 40 million that can be stolen. So in this case here, we are 10 of us, we shall take 20 million. And then the balance, we give you like 20 million at once. And now this is a young person. He gets into problems from the very word go. And the moment these guys convince you, they will be able to use your account because they'll tell you that let this money go through your account, personal account, or your signature. And then they are very, very clever than accountants. They are not as wise as we think. Accountants, we are not as wise as we think. In most cases, we are cheated by very, very small things. Those guys in this case will not leave any trace of you having given them any money. And at the end of the day, when it goes to courts, those guys will be witnesses against you. So it will be very important for us to appreciate how do we get to live within our means. Then that means that we have to start this concept of savings from the word go, when you are employed. Fortunately, most of us get employed at what age? Let me just show you something here. Not all of us, but most of us. I want to believe by the time you hit 25, by the time we are hitting 25, we should be quite 30. No, that is too late. It's too late. Of course, I said most of us. So let's assume that we shall get employed at 25 years. And they get what income? What is the approximate income of a young accountant? What is the approximate income of a young accountant? Approximate salary of a young accountant. Young accountant at the workplace. 30,000. You want to mean the accountants are that much underpaid? Now 50K is reasonable. 50K. Remember here you have done your internships. The payment ni kawaida huku, yes, even 25, 20. Okay. For this illustration, let's work with somebody. Let's work on the assumption that the person is getting like, say, 40,000 per month. This salary per month. So this person, remember, at 25, he doesn't have a family, right? We are making the assumption that he doesn't have a family. So out of this 40,000, I don't want you to get into these issues of how much in terms of rent. I want you to be very, very modest and tell me, out of a SLO of 40,000, how much do you think will this guy be able to save on a monthly basis? Be very practical. How much do you think will this person be able to save on a monthly basis? How much? Please, let's discuss here. Out of 40,000, how much do you think will this guy will be able to save very comfortably? Very comfortably. If he's serious, 8K, up to 10,000 years. Because he's a young man. He's a young man. Let's give this guy 10,000 per month. Thank you very much. Now, of course, 10,000 per month, he can't start going for government bonds. He can't even go for treasury bills. All right. The very easiest way of this guy saving, he should be able to save through what we call money market fund, MMF, money market fund. The good thing with the money market fund, you can put in your monies regardless of the amount, any amount, anytime, and you can withdraw that money anytime, anytime. Money market funds. Is there somebody who can give me examples, good examples of money market funds? For example, we have CIC. CIC. CIC is they have a very good money market fund. I want to take you very slowly here because now this one, I'll not have a course for this. I'll not have a course for this. So I'm doing this course here with you now. I'm doing this course with you now. I can see you guys are very knowledgeable in this area. Britam, like Safaricom Mali is very good. Although the rates are quite small, but they're coming up with the time. Old Mutual, ABSA, they have, yes. ICA, Lion, yes. All right. All right. Okay. So thank you very much. That apart from, in this case here, this saving scheme, MMF, you can also go in this case here for SACCOs. SACCOs here. And remember, SACCOs, you'll either invest in terms of share capital, or you have what we call deposits. Share capital will always give you a higher dividend rate. Like Mwasibu Share Capital this time around, they have given 15%. But deposits, they have not given a very good rate. I don't know why. They give about 9% for deposit. But you see, deposit, they've got also another advantage. Deposit, you can leverage on deposits to borrow. You can't borrow against your share capital. You need to know that. That I'll be able to show you later. Now, what is the average return of a money market fund? Average return. What is the average return of a money market fund? Average return. Long Rock David, my friend, since you cleared CPA, you disappeared from me. You should never disappear from your mwalimu. Your mwalimu is your father in the industry. You must always reach out to mwalimu even after you clear these CPAs. But I'm happy that today you have joined in. Immaculate is saying 11 to 12%. Yeah, they're very well established ones. They are quite mean. And remember, as you register with the MMFs, ensure that they are under the regulator. They must be under the regulator. 5 to 7, Mumbi Gitao, a lie. That is too low. That's what banks give for fixed deposit. If you have a fixed deposit in a bank, that's what they will give you. Otherwise, no. It should be as high as 13, 14%. You guys check out. Rate of interest. Rate of interest. In this case here, this could be as high as what here? As 14%, like that. All right. So I would want words to fit in. All right. Everything is okay now. Everything is okay. Now, this person, if he's 25 years today, he should be able to sustain. Let's assume that he'll not even get an increment. Or rather, if he gets an increment, of course, he'll not be able to put most of it into savings. Let's assume that he'll save 10,000 per month. This saving is per month, PM. And that will be sustained throughout. That will be sustained throughout per month. So then how many years will he save before he retires? If he's 25 years today, You will save in this case here for 35 years. 35 years. Now, please come here and give me number of months. Number of months. Out of, we know that each year has got 12 months. So this times 12. Each year has got 12 months. So this gives me 400. This guy will save 10,000 for 420 months. The rate of interest has also to be on a monthly basis. So we have here interest per month. Interest per month. Interest per month. So interest per month, if this is a yearly interest rate, I'll come and say this 14%. I know that each year has got 12 months. So I want to apportion this to monthly rate. Monthly rate. Monthly rate. No problem. Monthly rate. So monthly rate will be like that. All right. We are doing very well. Now from there, ladies and gentlemen, what I will do, if I want, I can convert this back to percentage. All right. But let me increase the decimals. All right. Like that, yes. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, after I reach here, then I would want to get the future value. How much will this? We call them uniform amounts, annuities. So if I come and say equals future value, the rate per month, it is this one here. I say, comma, number of periods in this case here, they are 420 because they're number of months, comma, they're calling it payment. For us, we take this as a negative cash flow because you're investing today. You're losing out money. You call it losing out today. So in this case here, minus, I would want this to be a cash outflow. So remember, he's saving 10,000 per month like that. These others are faint, so you don't have to put them. They're not a must. So close your brackets and say enter. So you can see by the time he's retiring, he'll be having 111 million Kenya shillings. 111 million Kenya shillings here. 111 million Kenya shillings like that. And he has been saving how much? 10,000. 10,000. Does this look realistic? Does it look realistic? Does it look realistic? Or do you think in this case it's a lie? That somebody who is saving 10,000 from the time he is age 25 to the time he is age 60, just 10,000 per month, at the rate of interest of 14%, this guy will end up getting 111 million by the time he's 60 years old. Of course, by that time, given inflation's etc., that money may also not be a lot. But the thing is, I would want you to start seeing the opportunity cost. Now, what if this guy, for example, is blessed after, say, a few years, he changes this to 20,000? Check here. Hey. And what if, for example, was to take lots of these monies, if it was to take lots of these monies to government, in this case here, government what here? Government bonds, like the ones in this case here without any taxes, etc. Government bonds, assuming they're giving at about 18%. And then this guy is bright. When he gets the interest, he plows back. Remember, this money is a lot like this because of the power of compounding interest. Power of compounding interest. I'm telling you, when I get young men outside here splashing their 10, 20,000 on beer on a weekly basis, I know these guys are financially illiterate because they don't know the loss. You know, the loss is not just the money that they're paying today. You're losing all that compounded interest over years. Over years. You're losing a lot. You're losing a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot. I'm not saying that my students in this case start being very, very mean. No, we still have a life, but please let's not have it like when you get in this case the slightest opportunity, like just throw your money, 10, 20,000 over a weekend. No. That money you are losing so much. And remember, if you start, like now, I'm so sure there are guys here who could be like, say, 40 years, and they have not yet started saving at all. Do you think in this case here, once you hit 40, you can easily recover? Do you think you can easily recover once you hit 40? Compounding interest. Remember this book of The Richest Man in Babylon. The richest man in Babylon told us we should never waste our youthful years. Let's, in this case, just start putting investments on vehicles where we have interest, where we have interest, where we have interest, where we make interest. The Richest Man in Babylon. If you can get that book as well, please read. You'll be able to understand the concept of what here compounding interest. So then I would want to stop here now because we have some class at 8 p.m. Is there somebody who has any general question? Any general question? How do you open this MMF account? I think I should be able to handle that in a different. But if you go to Google, just go, for example, to CIC MMF. Most of those registrations are done online. HP, how do you? Oh, no. Is it wise to buy assets such as land? Of course, yes. Yes, because I also tell my students that you must build what we call a portfolio. But please don't believe on these physical assets a lot. You'll get somebody who has got, in this case, these rental properties all over, and they're cheated. Most of them are cheated that rental income is passive. Rental income has never been passive. I've met, and I've told you this severally, I've met a landlord on the road chasing after a tenant who refused to pay rent. Is that what we call passive income? I've gotten, in this case here, retirees outside there sweeping their rental properties because now they are not even able to pay the caretakers. Is that what you call passive? No. But when we invest, for example, in a government bond, if this government bond is giving you, for instance, an income interest of, say, in this case here, every 6 months, once in this case here, that time reaches, those guys will always give you your interest without any follow-up. That is the truthful what here, passive income. So I would want you to be having bonds here. I would want you to be having, in this case here, shares, a few of them. I would want you to be having what here? Land as well. But please don't make land. You know, it's only in Africa where we make land like the biggest thing. All right. All right. It is a normal Excel. Advanced Excel is a normal Excel, but now you're looking at it from, in this case here, a high level in terms of what here? Formula. In terms of formula. It is like now what I've been teaching you here is advanced Excel. So it's not like a independent system, no. It is this normal Excel, but now being taught at a higher level, at an application level. How do you apply this in our day-to-day basis? So if I stop there, will I say I've done something nice to you guys this evening? Is there somebody who has learned? Please don't waste some of these small opportunities, like the savings opportunities, like some of us did waste when we were youthful. Please, the very important thing is for you to appreciate what we call time value of money. You start saving at a tender age. Tender age. Have, in this case here, like targets, like you're saving 50% of your income. You will come to thank me. You will come to thank RCM. Remember, RCM Online College is more than just teaching CPA. We take also like a father role, like myself, I take a mentor's role, a father's role to ensure that you guys, when you retire, you will be okay. You will be okay. Great, great. Thank you so much. Great, excellent, great. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. So please don't forget to join our online Excel classes. Call us 0793 555 000 and bye-bye. See you again. We shall be organizing this kind of events often.